Hey YouTube, alright, so welcome back to another video. Today is Tuesday. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just got home from work. The 07 is driving great. Haven't had any issues with it dying or not starting since I changed that fuse. So 07's doing great. So yesterday, early morning, Monday, so Dave and I got the engine and everything back in the car. It did start, but it was running like shit, and I couldn't figure it out, so I gave up on it. I was super tired yesterday when I got home from work, so I just went in, took a shower, went to sleep, and slept all day, all night. Got up and went to work today, and I felt much better, so I decided I wanted to do some work on this, figure out why it's misfiring so bad. So, the other night, whenever I first started it and it was misfiring, whenever we put the engine in, we broke this spark plug in cylinder 5, which was this one. And if you look at it, it looks rusted in there, even on this one. And so then I changed it because I had an extra one. I had 2 extra because this was a set of 8, and I put 6 of them in here and had 2 extras. So I put this one back in here, and it was still misfiring. So then I went to check on cylinder 3, and this one broke in the exact same way the one in cylinder 5 broke. And this is the 1258 serial number. This was the 1258, and so was this one. So I'm thinking this was just that cheap eBay China set of AC Delcos that I got, and I think they're just bad. They're just junk. So I think the issue is I just need some different spark plugs. So what I'm going to do is I have all these used ones, which are still AC Delco Iridiums, but they are different. They are 68387, 68387. And I have like 8 or 10 of these because they're off of a couple different engines. But I have plenty, so I'm thinking about, for now, I just want to get 6 of them that are all the same. 387, 387, 387, 387, 387, 387. Cool, so I have 7 of them actually, other than the 3 that I painted. So these are all good. So I'm going to try some of these, and even though they're used, they might work a little better. So that's my plan and my goal. So I'm going to go ahead and get this other plug wire off, and get that other spark plug out, and let's see if that one breaks also, and we'll go from there. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update here in just a minute. Alright y'all, so I've got all 6 of the spark plugs swapped around with those other AC Delcos, the actual AC Delcos. So this originally was a set of 8 that I got for like 20 bucks on eBay, and they have a different part number. These are 1258, so watch out for these, because, alright, so these are the 3 good ones out of the 6. These are the other 3. So this one was out of cylinder 4, the middle firewall side, and then these 2 were out of cylinder 3 and cylinder 5. And all 3 of them broke the exact same way, and all of them are like rusted, and all of these, they're all broke the exact same way. Like, all of them have rust in them. So I think this is just a China knockoff and someone's scamming, but this is definitely why I had a random multiple misfire, because I found this one was broke, cylinder 5, and I replaced it before I ever even started the car. It was right after we dropped the engine in. This wire was hanging and the plug was broke off in the wire, so I thought we just caught it on the radiator or something and broke the one. But all the other ones, you know, I wiggled them and they seemed fine. But then when I pulled cylinder 3 wire off, it came off in the wire. And then whenever I pulled cylinder 4 wire off just now, it came off in the wire. So even though I replaced the one yesterday, Monday early morning, it was still random multiple misfire because it still had cylinder 3 and cylinder 4 still misfiring, even though I changed cylinder 5. That's why it was random multiple misfiring still. And then I started chasing, thinking it was the ground for the coils and the ICM, and it was actually just some broken cheap spark plugs. So really, you guys, watch out, be careful, don't get scammed, don't buy cheap shit on eBay. Like, it's just not worth it, unless it says from USA. But I don't know, if it says China, I wouldn't even mess with it. So now that I've got, sorry guys, now that I've got all spark plugs swapped around, now it's time to see if she starts and runs decent. So let's see. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. No misfires now. That's good. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, that makes me much happier. Because I know I took my time. I was trying to be quick, but I made sure I did everything correctly and made sure everything got torqued when I built the engine. So, not bad for a one-day engine rebuild, though. And painted some stuff and got some stuff swapped. Man, I'm happy with it. So, I do need to double check my the oil pressure sensor, because I remember hand tightening it, but I don't remember screwing it, like tightening it all the way down to the timing cover before I put the timing cover on. And it was leaking something last night, and I thought maybe it was leaking some oil out of that pressure switch. So I definitely need to double check that before I go driving it or anything. But hey, it runs a hell of a lot better. So definitely, you guys, keep an eye out for these 41-110 126 21258. I don't know if these are like some old part number or what, but do not buy these. If you see these online, do not buy these with this number, because these are junk. So, putting some old nasty AC Delco, like factory original GM 15-20 year old spark plugs back into the car, and it runs great. So I'm calling that a win. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna get some other tools out of the trunk and grab that antifreeze and the transmission fluid and let this thing run. Make sure the trans fluid's all the way topped off. Make sure the coolant's full and bled. And I need to go get another oil filter, because that one got smashed. So I need to run up to Walmart and get another oil filter. And then I will be back. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright, y'all. So the other night, whenever it was misfiring, I tried to put it in gear, and it acted like it didn't want to go into gear, and it was like really hard to shift. So I went, this is the shifter piece off of the transmission I just pulled out. And this is the one off that Buick, off this transmission I just put in. And you can see it's bent off to the side. So I'm swapping it out with the one off the old transmission. And it's just a 15 millimeter nut on there. And that's it. So between some spark plugs and this piece, hopefully everything is good to go. So y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna get this on here and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright you guys, so been working on the 06. Got her pretty full on coolant, had her running, was bleeding it, thermostat open, was blowing hot, but it still died. It died while I was adding transmission fluid. So I let it cool down for like 20 minutes or so, and then started it back up. I continued to fill it up and top it off with fluid. It's still a little low. I have a little bit more to add in that cap. But yeah, so it's like right at the bottom of the dipstick. So I just let it sit for a little while, and then I just started it up. And I tried to put it in reverse, and it like took a second, and then it wanted to slam into gear. It made a loud popping noise, and then I put it in drive, and I felt it shift into drive, but then it kind of hesitated and then slammed. So I don't know if there's something with the diff and the axle, or maybe because that diff housing was cracked, maybe it broke the diff in there or something. So I don't know what's going on. Like, I definitely felt it shift into the gears, but for whatever reason something's not catching. Either this could be a HD diff that was on there, that the diff cover broke, and I put an NA one on there and the axle's too small. I'm not for sure, but something's definitely up. So I really don't, like, I kind of want to do it on video, but I don't want to fuck up the shit any more than it already is, you know. I don't want to do any internal damage to the transmission. So I'm probably going to have to jack it up, pull the axle back out, and probably pull the diff cover off and see what's up with the diff. See, I mean, like, I inspected it visually, and like, everything seemed fine. Like, it looked great. It didn't look like anything happened to the diff. I guess I should have just swapped the motherfucker with the HD one when I had it out, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. It's cars. It's a $170 junkyard transmission, so I mean, can't complain too much. It's not like it was a $2,000 or $3,000 transmission. For me. It was for somebody, but I'm gonna let it sit for a little while, let it cool off, jack it up. I guess probably pull this strut back off so I can get in there and pull the axle out, pull that diff cover off, which means I gotta pull that engine mount, or the engine to transmission bracket, and try to get this thing pulled apart. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start it and try to show you guys. Watch your feet, David. You can't stand in front of it.
I'm not. Drive. I didn't do it that time. Oh, maybe park was broken. Oh! God!
That diff broke. Yeah, I think there's something with the diff. There's gotta be. Let me see if there's anything leaking under here.
Like a,
Man, I can't see
I don't
shit.
see anything wet. Oh, the axle looks wet right there.
That's grease, and it's where that oil pressure sensor was leaking, and I swapped that sensor. Oh, and I also put another oil filter on it. Man, I don't know. I mean, it runs good. I'm happy with that. That means I know I did everything on the engine correct. Fuck, I mean, this is something that happens with junkyard transmissions and junkyard shit, though, so there's always a possibility you're buying something bad. That's why they have a warranty. It just sucks, because that means I'm going to have to pull the engine and transmission back out if I can't figure it out and fix it. So it means if I pull this diff and shit out and put this HD one in and there's still something wrong with it, then it's something internal, which really sucks.
I'm starting to wonder if it didn't get hit while it was parked, and it like broke that park thing. That park.
I don't know. It really looks like they just rear-ended someone, and if it was hit while it was parked, I don't know. I don't know if it would have went to insurance, auto auctions, or not.
Been in the middle or in the back of a line of cars.
But
I don't know. Doesn't sound good.
I don't know. There's definitely something wrong with it. So I guess I'm gonna jack this thing up then and get the wheel off and see what's going on, and I'll give you another update. Alright, y'all, so got this thing torn apart. Finally got the axle out. Had to fucking separate it into two pieces. This thing's just dumping all the fucking brand new fluid out I just put in it. It's just been going non-stop. Dumped all over the subframe. I just fucking power washed. But it's gotta fucking be done. So I'm gonna have to pull that red bracket back off. And I'm going to have to unplug the speed sensor. The diff cover only has 4 13mm bolts, so it's not like it's hard to get off. But with it being bolted to the engine and in this tight space, that fucking oil pressure sensor I just put back on is now kind of in the fucking way. And this power steering line's in the way of getting to the bolts on the back side of the engine. And yeah, so it's just kind of a fucking pain in the ass. But I've got to get this diff cover off so I can check out this fucking diff and just make sure everything's good with it. And because I don't know what the hell's going on, but something's definitely going on with it. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I've been working on her. I've got all 4 of the diff cover bolts out, and then I've got the bottom bolt on the bracket up there out, and I just got the one more up there, and then that bracket will come out and that diff cover should come off. And I had to unplug the oil pressure sensor and the speed sensor. And then I had to take the NOx sensor and just kind of tuck it down here under the diff cover and everything. Just to try to tuck it back out of the way. And tucked all the wires over there. So hopefully I don't have any issues with those wires being in the way. But I want to work on getting that last bolt up there. I think it's a 13. And once I get that out, that bracket will come off and this diff cover should come off. So y'all give me a few and I'll give you guys another update here in a minute. Alright, you guys. Well, it's been like 3 hours. It's almost 11 o'clock. Finally got the diff out. And looky there. Fucked. It ate the teeth out of the housing. It's trash. I mean, if I clean all that shit out, I might be able to put another diff in there. But I don't know, it's missing like 2 teeth I can see on this housing ring gear. And I just know, and that's not something that can just be replaced. You can't just pop that out and pop a new one in. As you can tell on this other one back here. See. I mean, if it just popped out, I could totally just swap it out, but it don't just pop out like that. It fucking sucks. So, now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. And then also, whenever I pulled the diff out, it pulled out all this other shit. It pulled out this inner shaft, it pulled out this shaft, it pulled out all this. This gear fell out of the bottom side of the diff here. And you can see it chewed up all these. Like every one of these. So I don't think this was from me. I think this already happened in that accident, and it broke the diff, and it went, and that's why the diff cover was broke, you know? That's what I'm thinking. And it definitely ground some chunks in there. And it's like I said, the car didn't move but a foot. There's no way I did all that shit. There's no way I did all that shit just trying to go in reverse. It had to have already been broken. Which really sucks. So, at this point, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can clean all these little pieces of teeth out with the magnet maybe. Spray it out with some brake cleaner. And maybe try to put it back together with that HD diff. But at this point, I'm just not feeling very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Enthused?
No. Confident. I'm not feeling very confident in this transmission. So yeah, after all the work, which I mean all I did was pull it and power wash it and put it in. So I mean it's not like I tore the pan off and did a shift kit and all the shit like I did in the 07. But it goes right into gear when I put it in reverse. I can feel it go in reverse. When I put it in drive, I can feel it go in drive. I just think there was a problem with this diff. So I guess I should have just went ahead and went with my gut and swapped it. That's why I was asking everybody in the comments. And I only had like 2 or 3 people that actually commented and said something about the diff. And 2 people said to leave it, and 1 person said go ahead and swap it, because I'd hate myself if I had to swap it later on with it in the car. And here I am. If I would have just pulled it apart while I had the diff cover off and it was sitting over there on the ground, I could be like, oh damn, look at there. That's broke. That's teeth chunks gone. I really didn't look that much into it. I just spun it and made sure it spun, and it seemed to spin fine. And I don't know. I just
that damage on the differential, the ring and the pinion, all those gears looked fine when we put the cover on.
But it was all buried back in there, so how could you see it? That's what I'm.
It spins. All that shit spins. It's an open diff. It just spins around and around and around.
I know, it was sitting on the ground, like, yeah. Like, it was sitting on the ground, hanging over, like, right here.
Yeah.
So we would have had to go and like been looking underneath it to see any. There's no way we would have seen that.
Bro, I was looking at it when we were at the junkyard. It didn't have that shit wrong with it when we were at the junkyard.
I don't know. Maybe it didn't. Maybe there's something else wrong with it and I just fucked it up and broke it. I have no fucking clue. I could have swore everything was fine, but like I said, that's part of junkyard shit, so I don't know, I guess I'm gonna grab a magnet and try to get all that shit out, and I've got to do something. I can't just leave it here with no fucking wheel on it, on the jack, so the owners of the trailer park's supposed to be coming back tomorrow. So I've got to have this all back together and back on the ground before I go to bed tonight, so I guess I'm going to grab the magnet and get to work trying to clean this out, and I'll give you guys another update. Okay guys, so David's been helping me out a lot. So we made some progress, at least I think. So the diff, this is everything out of this Reman transmission. So it's pretty much, I don't know what the hell this gear here is, what it does, but that came out, this shaft came out, this gear inside the diff came out. Well damn, now it won't even spin. Alright, well, this thing's junk. There you go, it's starting to come out. Well, all these teeth and gears are junk. Oh well, I tried. Okay, so all this is the stuff that come out of the trans. So what we ended up doing was I came back here to the trans that just pulled out, because I knew none of this stuff was broke. And sure enough, this one looks nice. No teeth are broke. This one looks nice. No teeth are broke. So I don't know. Maybe I can salvage one of these and use one of these for that one. But pretty much all I did was I just pulled this diff cover back off and just pulled the whole diff out. And everything came out. And this, I don't know what this little plastic thing is. Maybe that's a lock for something. But it was like right here. And this one didn't have one, so I don't know what's up with that one. But we pulled this whole diff and the whole axle that goes through to the other side. It goes into this axle here. And so I had to pop off the driver's side wheel and undo the strut, and I popped the axle out, and we were able to get the whole diff and everything out of that trans to go back into this one, and it's all seated in there. Now I went and spun the wheel on the other side, and it does spin this around. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'm gonna try and see what happens. If I can just make it work for a little while, I'll be happy. If it just works and can work with those little busted gears, then I'm gonna rock it for a little bit. And if it don't work, then it was worth a shot. So that's where I'm at right now on the 06. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and grab the diff cover and put it back on and start putting this thing back together. And then down here, before we put all that in, yeah, look at all these chunks of metal. I used a magnet. All that's out of there. That's all the broken teeth off of all those different gears and that big gear in there. I'm pretty sure there's probably some more in this shirt. But making some progress. At least I think it's progress. I'm hoping it's progress. So, y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all. So, I've got the diff cover all back on. Got the mount back on. Everything's tight. I left off the very top bolt just because it's more of a pain in the ass to get to. And if this doesn't work, then I'll probably have to take it back apart or pull the transmission back out. One of the two. But, say it's back together. So now I can take the oil pressure sensor, plug it back in. I can take the speed sensor, plug it back in to the transmission. Yeah, that's kind of a pain in the ass with this power steering line in the way. There we go. Cool. Speed sensors on there, knock sensors on there, oil pressure sensors plugged in. Cool. So now, just going to be putting the axle back together and putting the axle back in. And then I'm going to put the brakes back on. Whew. But, made some progress. I think. I mean, this could all be for nothing at all. It could still do the same thing. It could break this diff. I have no idea. So, this is all a learning experience for me. Like I said, I've never done any transmission stuff. I always just swap them. So, I have changed one diff cover before on this car with the first motor and transmission I put in it, and I had it for like a month and grenaded the diff. And so yeah, I've dealt with this part before, but that's it. I've never done all this, pulling that whole gear and that shaft out and all that. I've never, this is all the first time, so I'm learning with you guys. But I guess all I can do is get this axle put back together and get it back in here and start it up and put it in gear and see what it does. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright guys, so we got her back together. So I still need to put the wheels on. And I don't have any more fluid to add, but it's back together. So I'm going to start it and try to put it in gear with it in the air to see what it does. If I can find my keys. Hold on. Okay, found the fucking keys. So, let's see if this thing does anything. Or if I just wasted the last few hours on this for nothing. So, there we go. so it moves. It goes forward and backwards?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No abnormal noises.
Okay, well that's a good sign, I guess. I guess I'm gonna get the wheels bolted back on and move these drain pans and set it back on the ground. And try to get everything picked up because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, so... But once I get it on the ground, I'll actually see if it'll move under its own power and not clunk. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. All right, guys. Well, I just rewatched the video of it moving, and I'm happy with that. So, like I said, it's not a permanent fix, but I was really hoping that it would work. So I don't know. I really wish I would have pulled that out of there. I didn't notice there anything in there. I mean, I can go back and review the footage of the trans, but I mean, David said he didn't see any of those teeth being broke off that ring gear in there. So
I mean, that was the end I was on when we were lifting it into the back of the car, and it all seemed really nice.
I mean, yeah, I looked at it after I pulled the broken diff cover off, and everything looked fine. I was like, man, maybe I broke it just trying to pull it out, and that bracket was still over on that side.
Yeah.
And
but the differential could have took a hit whenever
when the car got wrecked.
It was damaged previously, or perhaps whoever tried to take it apart, broke it or put tension on it somewhere that made the diff be in the wrong spot, or...
Well, I took that car apart.
Well, no, because when we got there, remember that pickle fork was in
That's
it?
a different...
Oh, yeah, it's a
different car.
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Remember that when the electronics were fucked up?
That's right.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's in there. I ended up having to pull this axle out of this side to get it all to seat back in place. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier or not, but... Man, this was a process. Like I said, I started this at like 4:30.
Yeah, 3, so we got home at like 3 something.
So, man, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. This is taking a long time. But, like I said, this was a learning experience for me. And, hey, it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the results so far. So, once I get it on the ground under actual load with wheels on it, and it's actually got weight and not just up in the air, I guess we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get this stuff picked up, get the wheels back on, set her on the ground, and I'll give you guys another update. Hey guys, so I just got her all wheels on. We're in reverse. And look at here. Oh no, I'm just moving forwards. Alright, and there's drive.
Yeah.
Alright. There's park. Sweet.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Yeah.
Alright, she's out of the driveway. Man. Yeah, she low. So I'm not going to be able to drive her yet, but at least she moves under her own power, so. there we go. She runs and drives and moves under her own power. So I guess it wasn't a complete waste of the last like 8 or 9 hours, because I did actually make some progress and found some pretty gnarly carnage in this thing. So it sucks I didn't notice it beforehand, but like I said, shit happens, you live and you learn. And I learned how to fuck with these transmissions a little bit more, so it was a win-win. I mean, it sucks it was broke, but I fixed it. So I call it a win. So I'm gonna get all these tools picked up and I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so I've got the 06 parked over here across the street. She's doing alright. I'm gonna have to go get some more transmission fluid the next few days after I get paid. But she moves under her own power, so I'm happy. So I really thought the trans was fucked. I mean, it still probably is, but I wish I would have just pulled that diff and shit out of there while I had the trans out, but you know, shit happens. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video. So you guys like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.